Morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning, the 21st of July, and this is your pre-opening comment. It is video number 860. And I remind you, as always, if you like the work, please support us by hitting that subscribe button. Okay, Asia, mixed, Europe, down a little, and the futures all over the place. This morning when I got up, the futures were up around 200. Then all of a sudden they were up only 65. Now they're back to up 140. They were just up 162. So bouncing around quite a bit. The NASDAQ was down 50, then down 24. Currently down about half that. And the S&P was up about 12, then it was basically unchanged. Now it's up $9 again. Okay, so we skipped last night, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update on some of the earnings numbers that came out yesterday. Netflix was a miss on revenues, a beat on earnings, and a miss on subscribers being added. The stock had closed $5.31, down $1.23, traded all the way down to $4.96 before turning back up and making a new high on the day at $5.37 and closing $5.34.25, up $1.97. This morning it's $5.24, down 7, although it too has been bouncing around. CMG, Chipotle, beat top and bottom line. The stock had closed up almost 25 at $15.75, traded up to $16.59, up 91.83, 5.9%. This morning it's trading $14.92, so that's down a little from last night's close, but still up 68 from yesterday's close. Johnson & Johnson beat on earnings, but also had the news that their one-shot drug or vaccine is not effective versus the Delta variant. The stock is up about $1. Coca-Cola beat top and bottom line, $56.83, up 1.8% or $1. For a company the size of Coca-Cola, that's actually a pretty darn good reaction. UAL beat top and bottom, but the fact of the matter is it was almost a $4 loss per share. I'm really tired of hearing all the bullshit about what these airlines need. We gave them $54 billion. Gave them $54 billion. And then we allowed them to borrow $25 billion more at dramatically reduced rates. That was to keep people on the payroll. Now they're short people, which means they didn't keep them on the payroll. So what the hell is going on there? And when will there be an accounting for yours and my dollars? Because we gave them a boatload. Okay, last night we also had stock Neurometrics. This is a little one, had closed at 326 the day before, and they had very encouraging results and positive feedback from the FDA on a new fibromyalgia drug. This is interesting because fibromyalgia is kind of a non-specific. So the fact that they've come up with something to help this non-specific malady that is quite debilitating is really great. So yesterday the range was $3.86 to $12, and it closed last night at 10, up 6.74, and this morning is trading has traded as high as $13.90. Last is $13.55, and that's up about $3.50, so another 35%. So $3.26 to $13.90. Pretty nice run for 2 days. And little ARDX, ARDX, which closed yesterday 201, down 569 on negative FDA feedback on something they've been working on. Sent that one down 74%. It's down another 20 cents or another 10% this morning. Chart on the screen is coffee. I'm going to give you a little broader look at this because it's one of my favorites. And as I said in this week's note, we would test this high, which is 176.45. Going back the other way, that was written when we were trading at 156. Yesterday, we were up $10. Very few $10 moves in coffee. And this morning, we're up another 560 with a high of 172.55, last 172.40. So we're basically there. I mean, when you talk about something when it's 155 and you call for 176, 172 and a half is definitely in the right direction. It's also a breakout here off this double bottom, which occurs, pretty much up. I have mentioned this many times. Breakouts, consolidation to the point of breakout, breakout, consolidation to the point of breakout, and again, and again, and again, until we broke to the downside here when we broke this trend line. But as you can see, it never really affected the moving averages. The moving averages have stayed positive with the exception of the 5 and 20, which is, reversed a couple of times in both directions, but really a very interesting move. We, of course, are long the coffee through the ETF JO, which is 48.30 this morning. On a closing basis, we closed at 46.34, which was up 235 or 5%, and now we're that much higher. I believe that these are new highs. Let's take a quick look. Yeah. So this is that same major bottom that I've been talking about in the long-term coffee. It's barely oversold on a weekly basis. I'm assuming on a daily it should be particularly oversold, though not that much. And the MACDs are just turning to the upside. Balance of power, good. Overbought, oversold, good. So there's really not much more that I can say about that one. Bitcoin bounced off the first close below 30,000, pretty nicely up about 1,900 this morning. As far as I'm concerned, it's still in trouble. Could this be a successful test? It might be, but you can't call it that until it goes through 35,000 to the upside. Everything is negative here. All the moving averages are down. It's broken all possible support with the exception of the 28,800 low. If you look at this one on a little longer term, you see it again, all the moving averages. The 5 about to go back through the 50 now, which would really be pretty ugly. Let's push this out a little. And you can see this is an important area, but there's also this gap. I'm not sure it has to be filled, but it easily could be at 24,000 and change. But it was a monster move, and to give back half of it is almost expectable. Okay, the oil is up $1.25, $1.16 now, was up more. Very disappointed in the gold. Probably going to add there to that position today, down 1380, but also, right back at support again in that 1800 area. Let's get rid of this weekly and go to the daily. And you can see it is still above the bottom here, 1791, and all of this consolidation, including the bounce into the 200-day MA, is all above the prior bottoming area. So I'm still long-term bullish on this. And that's about it. I see the board gave Jamie Dimon another 1.5 million options. So, you know, even I am beginning to get disgusted with the amount that CEOs and chairmen are making, you know, while people are still suffering on unemployment. But that's just me. All right, everyone. Looks like it's going to be an interesting day again after being down so hard on Monday and up so strong yesterday. You know, the one that I'd really like to focus on here, and there's a chart on that too, is the Russell. Because the Russell is a lot of small companies, and it had a huge bounce yesterday. It was down about 9% from the highs. Let's take a little deeper dive here. The high occurred all the way back in March, and it spent 4 weeks up here under that, unable to break out. And then, of course, it went from the highs in here at around 2350. This past week touched 2100, 2350 to 2100, 250 points, over 10% from here to there. And of course, we had the big bounce yesterday. So I'm somewhat encouraged here. But, you know, just like the Bitcoin chart, you know, it's running against a round number here at 2100 and multiple bottoms and the 200-day MA. But it's clearly not out of the woods here. And the first thing that would be helpful would be if we broke this downtrend line. And it looks like it could easily do that. It's up $14 today, which is this little bar here. I'd like to see some more higher low, higher highs. And I'm sure that there's going to be a test at 2261. But hey, 2261's $54 from here. $54 on this is 5%. So pretty meaning, 2.5%. And a bounce of 5% off the low. So there you go, everyone. Be careful out there. It's very whippy out, and I'll be back later. Don't forget to subscribe.